Those Negalinks can definitely mess with the color palettes a little bit, and I'm not sure I can really endorse siding with the enemy for lunchtime.
Well, I mean, what? Okay, we're starting vanilla.
Oh, another day of vanilla items.
Oh, that was a quick map check. All I saw was green pendant Hera. I think the other two were crystals.
Well, I know a lot of people don't like to see the lamp that early. They're like, oh no, it's going to be an Agassiz, blah, blah, blah. But I love early lamp. It's great to have.
Yeah, no worrying about dark rooms today. Plus, you got a way to light torches. There's another way to light torches.
Well, speaking of fire sources, we got that one squared away pretty early.
I like using the fire rod to kill those two right away, just because you can refill your magic right there. But no farming for bombs. We've got them.
Yeah, so I guess what happens is once you hit the 5-0 stage, the seats just start becoming easy mode, because this is a pretty nice opening.
Yeah, I'm almost gonna lure you into maybe thinking that it's gonna be easier going into the next round in the bracket, but Uncle did have a little warning saying they're gonna have bad luck today.
Yeah, but look at all these torches in the throne room. They're already all pre-lit. They don't even have to use their lamp or fire rod. I mean, how much easier does it get?
I guess not much easier than that. Now they get bombos here. I'm gonna wonder if somebody put this together.
I normally do not like the fire rod early because it is hard to farm with, but finding those triple bombs right off the beginning, this is a cakewalk.
Yep, you can just basically focus on getting through this as fast as you can. And fire rod, despite the fact that you got to wait an extra few seconds for the enemy to burn, is one of the faster weapons to get through this with. And of course, that also opens up potentially some grouting options early. That puts potential early dips into Skull Woods and Ice Palace in play.
Absolutely, and just having the lamp makes a lot of things in Logic. It'll encourage you to make a Death Mountain play earlier, to full clear Eastern if you find the bow. Just knowing that everything you do is not a sequence break.
So I actually have a theory now on the Ball and Chain Guard on lunchtime side.
Okay.
I actually think that's Link in a Ball and Chain Guard's armor.
To avoid the friendly fire implications.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. He's infiltrating the castle and rescuing the princess, kind of like a Star Wars thing.
Yeah, pretty much. So I think you're going to say something before I cut you off there.
No, I was just saying I'm looking here at the schedule, and there's only 2 more matches for the rest of the day running concurrently with this one. So it's just sad. Every Sunday when you reach the afternoon and you're like, this is the last of the rando for the day. It always makes me feel sad.
Yeah, I mean, that gives people time to rest, relax a little bit. We ended up going, well, not quite 24 hours without rando, but quite a bit. Let's get a little break from it as we wait for the next round matchups to come out. Should be seeing those later tonight or tomorrow morning. Gonna be a lot of people waiting to see who they got to face in round 7, especially in the 4-2 group.
That 4-2 group is going to be an absolute slaughter.
Yeah, I mean, looking through the group, you're going to see a lot of big names not make it to the bracket stage.
That's a perfect sync there with that chest.
Yeah, they are synced up right now as they go into this last part of Escape, though we'll see how nice the rat is to them.
You don't have to do any bomb farming. You really don't have any opportunities for even minute diversions in the escape sequence.
I think Eriror's rat was a little friendlier.
Oh, I like getting a triple rat kill there with that bomb. Very nice. Finding Quake, bomb capacity upgrade, and just the map. So got one item left to go in the sanctuary.
Early medallion, always something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I think the race we were doing yesterday, we got a lot of early medallions that we ended up not needing, and we had to search for the one that we did need.
I think that sounds about right, yeah. And there's a red potion to go with a red fire rod and red lamp.
I like that we have a consistent color theme within our game. And, you know, obviously picking up a bottle on your way to Kakariko's, always nice to have, you know, one less backtrack.
So both of them are staying in sync here. They're not going to go check Lumberjack. They're going to go straight to Lost Woods.
Personally, I'm a little disappointed. I'm a huge fan of the Lumberjack check, but, you know, like I said, it's a little bit out of favor at the moment. Finding some bombs there in the tree pool, though, that's nice.
Yeah, I don't know what the percentage chance of a required piece of progression being there is, but it's pretty low from what I've seen. But there's access to it if they need to, if they go kill Aga.
Yeah, that might make them head up there and check it now.
I think they'll both probably wait until maybe they're going to go up to Death Mountain.
Yeah, another red item, though. So what's left? Kana Samaria?
Lunchtime... Oh, he's going for the Bonk Rocks.
Do we need the red boomerang, the Kana Samaria? What other red items are there? The cape? Okay.
Okay, now I'd start to worry that they're pointing me towards Aga.
I'm starting to worry this is the plan, though.
And Lunchtime is going to go check Aga. I think he's thinking the exact same thing. There's a sword. That's Aga access actually right there.
You're absolutely right. That's full sword, cape, and lantern.
Nope, you don't have to get it for Lumberjack. It's just a heart container.
I don't know. A big red item? That might be required this seed. But yeah, Eriror did pick up the first of our gloves. So if they're very lucky, they'll pick up a Moon Pearl and a hammer, or Moon Pearl and another gloves before they run out of spots to check. But they do have everything they need for Aga.
Well, we know where everything is for Aga. They each need to pick up one more item, though. Lunchtime will pick his up pretty quick, and I can't imagine Eriror is gonna wait on that too long.
Yeah, I meant the collective they, not the Eriror they. But yeah, absolutely. We know where everything is.
Well, there's a red rupee.
Yeah, that's the third or fourth red rupee that we found so far. So Eriror might want to pick up some bombs before he heads out of here. Only having 2 left, not quite enough.
It's blue mail from the sick kid.
Yeah, I don't feel too bad about the blue mail there. I mean, we would expect to see the red mail, but the way progressive mail works, we have to see blue first. So we'll see red before not too long, I expect.
Yep, that's true. Just arrows in the library. Or arrow upgrade.
Nice spin speed there from Eriror coming out of the library, and opting not to pick up the red rupee.
I think he feels like he's got enough red. Oh, got a little bad RNG there with the guard.
Yeah, I always feel bad for the guards that are just like stuck, you know, down in the castle basement or whatever. But what do you have to do to be stuck on hiding in a bush or in the grass? You got to really mess up. How many times does Zelda need to escape before that's where you're put?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, how do they end up in there?
I know, it's exactly, doesn't make any sense.
Lunchtime is buying bombs. Eriror, I don't know. This is a weird little name to pronounce. He is actually going to head over to Agahnim. As I say, he only has 2 bombs right now.
Fortunately, he saved 1 on race game, so he just needs 1 here, and then 1 will get him the mini Moldorm Cave, but if he doesn't find any more bombs, then he's not going to be able to do Ice Rod Cave.
Another red rupee.
He might purchase bombs coming out of Link's house here.
Nope, but he does get a bomb drop, so he's got the 2 for Ice Rod Cave and Mini Moldorm Cave now.
That's always a good rock to check if you have the gloves. 50% chance of there being a bomb under there. Always nice to pick up every time you head out of Link's house.
So quickly through the Mini Moldorm Cave, 5 chests.
So do you think we'll see a fake flipper in an attempt to maybe sequence break some Aga requirements?
Now that we get that Moon Pearl, maybe. I think that's a stronger possibility now, because you can get to the Waterfall Cave.
With the boots, they can also do a double water walk and actually get the ledge item if they want to, or if they just want to save some time, run on the water. That's always fun to watch.
That is true, yeah. With boots and Moon Pearl, you can set up a double water walk, which can get you to the Zora ledge item, which is usually flipper locked.
I think if you can potentially check items that you're otherwise going to check anyway, and maybe sequence break a 6-minute Aga Tower, it's definitely worth considering. Eriror not doing that. Lunchtime, we'll see what option he chooses.
I think Eriror is going to go check the Bong Crocs and then maybe go up to Death Mountain. You only can get a couple items up there right now, but they are in logic.
That makes a lot of sense. Even if there's no progression, no mirror, hammer, or hook shot that lets you move out of the tower, at minimum, you're still activating that save and continue point. So you're not really losing any time in the end.
Now, we are seeing Lunchtime set up the water walk here by running along the edge of the pit. And, yep, he has it active. He checked it by walking down the stairs. He walked down them at normal speed. Now he's going to set up a fake flipper. Or no, maybe not.
Yeah, so he's just he's not going for the double buffer that'll get you the Zora ledge item. He's just doing the single run on the water. Oh wow! And he gets the knowledge of where the hammer is.
That increases the chance of an Agaseed pretty drastically.
I think that yeah, because they would need the mitts in order to get that for alternate Dark World access and the mirror. So yeah.
So we could still get to Dark World with the mitts, but because the hammers also need to access East Dark World, unless we find those flippers. Oh, okay.
Oh wow. If you find the second mitts, I think you seriously consider sequence breaking to get that mirror.
Yeah.
This is really interesting. This is the type of race that I really want to see at a 5-0 level, because the runners have the caliber to both understand the logic, the implications of the item positioning, and the ability to pull off complicated sequence breaks.
So, yeah, it really depends at this point on where the flippers are, as to whether ag is required or not. Well, it also depends on where the mitts are. But if they get the mitts, they can for sure sequence break an ag skip now.
Yeah, you could have flippers on the pyramid, and you can sequence break through that with the double water walk to get the mirror. Well, you would still have to fake flipper in the dark world, though, in order to actually get the hammer. That's a little bit hard to do.
You can actually set up a water walk in the dark world from Skullwoods.
Yeah, you can. That's a little bit less commonly known, though, so it would be pretty rare if we saw that, but it would be a treat.
Yeah, you would have to set up a fake flipper. That is true, but I mean, there are ways to do it. It would be interesting to see if these runners go for it. And one way to do is actually with a fairy to set up a death, but they need a net or to find a bottle with the fairy.
Yeah, as much fun as that is, I think that given the utility of the mirror and the hammer, I think that means we're probably going to find the flippers, in logic fairly easily, and they're probably thinking that they'll just follow the logic and do what they need to do.
Yeah, that's not necessarily a bad plan.
Although, like I said, it's 5-0. They're both in the brackets, so maybe they'll have some fun with it.
And then, yep, that could happen too. We'll have to see how they play it. We are actually running out of places to check. Eastern, I think it might be the last place we've got. Unless they want to start fake flippering, and no, we already saw the waterfall through fake flippers. We didn't see Zora though. Zora is in logic. So one more chest in logic in Eastern here. And then I don't know, if you don't find anything in Eastern, I think you might just make the Aga play, because you don't want to go farming rupees.
My guess is you make the Aga play. Even if you were to find the mitts for your Dark World access, Lunchtime knows where the hammer is. I don't think Eriror, got that information yet, but if the mitts are going to be your only Dark World access for a while, that's pretty inconvenient for your routing. So Aga access, just to be able to get to the east side quicker, is kind of worth a few of those minutes.
Yeah, they don't find there's nothing in Eastern. Now, Lunchtime hasn't been up to Death Mountain yet, so he'll probably make that check right now.
Yes, anybody tuning in, we have the hammer on the Lake Hylia Island, so that's a mirror locked, and the mirror is on the Zora's ledge. So we've been discussing ways that they could potentially sequence break without the flippers to pick up both of those items.
Yeah, and at this point, it's basically going to be dependent on if they need to go to Aga anyway or not. Because the other thing is, even if they get to Dark World right now, there's not much you can do. Literally, you're going to be limited to Pyramid, Catfish, and potentially Pod, depending on if it's bow locked or not. Oh, I think Eriror is going to go for the Houlihan and get the rupees he needs. Yep, he set up Houlihan. And that'll get him all the rupees he needs to check Zora.
That makes sense. He might go directly to Zora, but it might probably be faster to actually still fake flipper over there and check the waterfall ledge items just in case.
There actually is one more thing we could check that would be a sequence break, but we haven't seen yet, and that is Hobo.
That's a good point. Lunchtime skipped the hobo because he would have lost his water walk at the time.
But Eriror is going to set up a Boots water walk as well. I think he tried to. I don't know if he actually did.
Yeah, I didn't know you could do it by falling down. Maybe you can't.
He jumped off right away. I think he might have set it up. But he's going to check Hobo, which Lunchtime did not check. So let's see if this pays off. Lunchtime's going to be disappointed by Agina as well.
Well, Agina's cave is almost always a disappointment. So to be fair, what were you expecting?
Only a blue boomerang on the Hobo. And it looks like Error did not set up the water walk, but he can still fake Flipper out of there to go check these other locations.
I believe the water walk only triggers, the buffered one only triggers if you're jumping down. So I don't think the sideways jump triggers it. But I could be wrong.
Well, what is Lunchtime doing?
Lunchtime is getting magic to use the cape.
Okay.
Whoa! Harry, you're just missing that Zora. Nice.
Alright, so he's going to get disappointed here. He's going to find out the mirror's on the ledge. And then we'll see if Zora's got anything. At this point, I think Zora is the last possibility to avoid Aga. At least for now. Is he going to save and quit? Not going to go...
Wow.
Okay.
He's not buying the Zora item. That makes sense if he wants to save money to go directly into Palace of Darkness. You don't want to be short.
I guess so, yeah, and that would make a lot of sense, and he's going to go up and do the Aga play too.
Yeah, I'll admit I've had more than a few times where I've done Zora as my last check before Aga, and then you don't have any money for Kiki.
Well, with that blue boomerang, you can also check the stun prize, see if by chance it happens to be rupees.
Yeah, it's really dangerous if you don't have the gloves yet, because a lot of the rupee farming light world locations are behind gloves. So if you don't know where the tree pools move and the hoarders move after you kill Aga, it can be really, really hard to find that Kiki money. Yeah, that play from Eriror does absolutely make sense. He knows he's going to have to come back there anyway to get that mirror, and he knows it's going to be available pretty soon because it blocks the hammer. So he doesn't want to, he'd rather have the money for Kiki than for Zora. So it makes sense not to gamble all your money on that one item.
Yeah, and I mean, as it is. I mean, as much as we might be able to sit here and think of how they could potentially sequence break that mirror and hammer. At some point, the sequence breaking just gets too intense, and you're just like, let's just do this logically.
Absolutely. The only thing that really could have helped them at that point was the second Mitts upgrade being on Zora, and still at that point, you're committing yourself to really time-consuming sequence breaks, which aren't much better than just doing this. Especially if you have to, like you were saying earlier, JP, you'd have to do a fake flipper from Skull Woods and then walk all the way over. It's just, do you really save any time in the end? Probably not.
I think that was accidental.
Yeah, but it's good to know, just in case.
Okay, time to play everybody's favorite guessing game. Well, second favorite guessing game. How many blue balls will Aga fire?
I'm gonna go with 3, just because that's the average, and it's random, so I'll go with the average.
I'm not getting 15 today.
So all you guys guessing 10 and 14 and 15. I hope you immediately go play Zelda yourself and get that 10 and 14 and 15 in your end seed. You're just building the bad karma.
So lunchtime has 4 hits on Aga. 2 more. If he gets another blue ball, he'll have to do an extra phase. Okay, 1 extra phase there. That is worth remembering. Both runners will get the same number of blue balls, which is at 4 right now. One more hit to take Aga down on lunchtime side.
So do you go into, assuming that you don't find flippers or something at the pyramid, and your only options are Catfish or Palace of Darkness, which one do you pick first?
That's really tough. With boots, I'd go ahead and do Catfish. If I didn't have boots, I'd go right to Pod.
Yeah, they both can potentially, only have 1 item if you're bow locked in Pod, but they do have a potion, so they can potion glitch through the bow lock section. They from that red potion. I'll point out it was the red one they got early.
Yeah. So yeah, lunchtime is gonna go straight in the Pod. Yeah, he has the option to glitch if he wants to. Eriror gets through Aga. He was down to half a heart, but he's fine. The extortionist has been contracted. Oh, there's our map check. Pendant Mire, Pendant Turtle Rock. And Red Crystal, Thieves Town. So, we may not need any medallions.
Wow, that is a very nice pendant layout to have. Green on Tower of Hera, that's a really easy one to clear, to get both items and to pick up that pendant, because you're going to go up to Death Mountain for so many other items anyway.
So there was some nice divergence here. Eriror is going to head up and check Catfish. Lunchtime is going into Pod, which is not bow locked.
Yeah, it's not immediately bow locked. Hopefully he'll find enough keys or be willing to use that red potion and give us a little sequence break.
Oh, Catfish. That is adding insult to injury.
Yeah, hopefully that's not an indication of how generous Zora is going to be. If Zora has the other single rupee, that would be fantastic.
So our progression is somewhere in Pod.
Yeah, that single rupee did not unlock anything for our runners.
So far, nothing, but usually Pod is the items are in the back.
So lunchtime not going for the bow lock section, going straight to the back. See what Eriror does. Yeah, chat points out vanilla flippers have not been eliminated yet because neither runner actually checked what Zora has.
It's a definite possibility, and it's one of those that you would never see coming.
And I'm sure if that happens, Lunchtime will be kicking himself because the mirror makes Palace of Darkness much easier, and he could have picked up the mirror when he was up there. But like I said, chances of that actually happening, God, who knows?
Actually,
I'm sure
there was
someone knows.
Eriror that could pick him up.
I always get that confused. Left side, right side of the screen.
Lunchtime is stocking up on rupees. Not a bad idea at this point. You still have to do Zora still.
Yeah, it's basically like a little mini Houlihan room.
Now, Eriror is going to set up the potion glitch, it looks like.
So, really simple glitch to explain. While walking left, you use a potion, and then you go straight up, and you can lock the camera into scrolling. Once you either kill the mimics or get them to move off the screen, the door will open.
And there's our Titan Fits. So, Aga 100% required. But let's see if this glitch pays off for Eriror. Does not look like it.
No, but I think with red mail and even 7 hearts, it's not really that big of a waste using a red potion.
Yeah, he's trying to set up a death warp here. Yeah, unfortunately that's going to cost him some time. And Lunchtime is heading straight to Kingston before he goes to the west side of Dark World. Alright, so Eriror is going to continue through Pod as Lunchtime's going to give us our first look into the Village of Outcasts, and maybe he'll go and clear Skull Woods right now? A little ambitious, but it is clearable.
I think clearing Skull Woods makes perfect sense. With like I said, with the red mail, that's enough hearts to take out Mothula. It's a little bit hard with a fighter sword, but like I said, this is the 5-0 stage, so I'm sure they can handle it.
Yeah, they absolutely have the skill to handle it.
Yeah, I think more of a question will be, knowing where the hammer is, do they dip into Thieves' Town, knowing that they could potentially be leaving the big chest item behind? I would say in that case, probably not.
That is a tough call. Yeah, I would not. I'm not sure if they would or not.
Maybe you check the first 4 in case you find the flippers.
Yeah. Now this is interesting. Eriror has all the keys, so the chest that's south of here will have something. Might be a dungeon item. It could be another item. This is something I don't think Lunchtime checked. Just an arrow upgrade. Okay.
Yeah, all the value we had over here in Palace of Darkness was just those Titan mitts. That is a lot of value.
Yes, it is. So let's see, what are we still looking for in this seed? We're looking for the bow, we're looking for the hookshot, we're looking for the flippers. We know where the mirror and hammer are. I think that's all. We still need another sword as well.
Yeah, the cane is potentially optional, as is the flute. We might need those, but as of now, we don't know that we need them.
Yeah, a cane could be needed just for GT if you need to get to the right side.
Absolutely, and we'll probably find it. I mean, if we do need it for something, like it'll tend to show up, but at least they won't have to go out of their way looking for it until they're blocked by it. And so that's definitely fortuitous to have both of those Misery Mire and Turtle Rock both be pendants.
Yep, that's true. So we're gonna get lunchtime's fight on Mothula here. Use his fire rod shots, and then gonna go for fighter sports. Fighter sword spins over using the hammer.
It doesn't have the hammer, so fighter sword
Oh,
spins
you're
definitely
correct.
call. Sorry, I had to do that. But yeah, the very nice Mothula fight. One thing that you learn about Mothula just from playing it or watching the pros is if you're under geared, just take your time and be patient, and as long as you don't rush it, it's not as bad as it looks.
Yeah, absolutely. And lunchtime gets through it all right. He's the first one of our runners to pick up a crystal. Still looking for at least one item. I don't know if he's gotten one yet. There's a piece of heart. Not gonna death warp, which actually is not a bad call considering he's got red mail and full health basically.
Yeah, it's definitely faster to walk out of there, I think. But Eriror not actually proceeding to finish off Skullwoods, giving us a bumper cave check. Do you head back into Skull? I don't think you don't go back at that point.
Maybe he doesn't feel comfortable with Mothula right now, which isn't a bad call. And from what we've seen so far, doesn't look like he'll leave anything behind.
Yeah, I totally agree. There's 3 exterior items here in Village of Outcasts. Potentially. Oh wow.
Okay. So that means that was a required double dip into pod. Absolutely. And lunchtime finds the silvers.
Well, that is one thing Eriror is leaving behind in Skullwoods. That could be a little bit of immediate value, having the bow.
Well, we'll see how long it takes him to go back into Skullwoods. He might just be looking for a little more equipment before he does that, which isn't a bad call. And there's the flute. So we've got a loaded Village of Outcasts.
Wow, so that opens up, they can finish Eastern Palace. They can check the Mire area, but they may be able to get to the Mire if it's Quake.
Yeah, but you don't want to think about pendant dungeons too much right now.
Yeah, I'm just thinking through routing options, not necessarily which ones you'd want to go to. Desert is still locked out. They know where the mirror is, so they'll definitely be able to get in there once they get that mirror. And there's no reason to go back in the pod because they know where the hammer is.
Eriror is actually going to grab the blacksmith, take him on a little trip. And lunchtime's going to come. He grabs his flute and his bow.
I think the best thing that they want at the moment is actually the flippers, because that's going to give them the mirror and then the hammer, which will of course then give them all of Death Mountain access. So, you don't usually want the flippers that badly, but in this case, that's what they want.
Yeah, you usually kind of want to wait on those flippers just because of Swamp Palace. But with how much is locked behind those flippers, you need them early.
I think flippers and Hype Cave in this particular seed would make this a 10 out of 10.
Okay, that was Love Cave.
Another love cave and another medallion that we probably will not need. Because they already had Ice Palace access with the fire rod, so that bombos is a little redundant at this point.
Yeah, unless we have to go into a pendant dungeon that requires bombos. Yeah, we don't need that.
Yeah, but let's not even think about that. We don't want our runners to have to go into Pendant Mire or Pendant Turtle Rock.
And quite honestly, you probably don't even want to think about that until you find the cane. But Eriror is going to activate his flute, as lunchtime is going to get his love cave.
I like the dwarf dancing to the national anthem there.
Oh yeah, he is kind of dancing.
So it really hasn't been a lot of opportunity for any obvious route divergences. I mean, lunchtime has finished Skullwoods, but other than that, they're essentially have done the exact same things.
So Eriror is going to check the ledge. Just a red rupee. He'll go probably check the mire area now, as lunchtime's going to activate his flute.
So, just humoring chat, as always here. I think that the hookshot is the only relevant item that could be on the pedestal.
Sounds about right. Yeah, I can't see anything else that could be. Mire area was a bust. We do know that Misery Mire is opened by Quake, so they do have the option to go in there, but I don't think either runner wants to go in until it's their absolute last option.
Yeah, but it's always good to know, and they don't need the hookshot to do access Misery Mire, because you can bonk across, and either the boots or the hookshot gives you logical mire access.
Now, what is Eriror going to do here? He's setting up a water walk, it looks like. Is he going to water walk
he's
himself?
Getting the mirror.
I think he is. He's going to water walk and get that mirror.
Probably Zora as well while he's up there, but the mirror is the priority, and why you set that up.
So he's got to hit the fake flipper here to make sure he gets it. And he does. So as long as he set up that water walk correctly, what he'll do is he'll go into Waterfall Cave and swim right back out. That'll put him in a water walk state, but it'll also keep his other water walk armed.
Yeah, you have to make sure that when you go into the Waterfall Cave, you don't touch left or right at all. You just go directly down.
So it looks good. Now he's just got to be careful going through the Zora area. Oh! He disarmed it, and he kind of locked himself. He's going to flute out.
Nice flute.
That is the risk of that.
I'm still not sure exactly what his next plan would have been, because we talked about how hard it would be to actually get the hammer. We'll have to ask if he had a plan for that.
So lunchtime is making the gamble and going into Mire. Meanwhile, Eriror is going to go back into Skullwoods and finish that up with 11 hearts now. Not as scary.
Well, how much of a gamble really is this? Because they went into Eastern Palace and they cleared everything but Armos, I believe.
Well, you've still got Thieves Town sitting there too.
You have 3 to 4 items in Thieves Town, but you do have 2 items here. So I mean, it's not an absolute gamble. There aren't any super great places to go.
Yeah. Plus the fact, I guess, that you did get the that you did get Quake early might point you towards here a little more. So it's not a bad play. Considering that Thieves Town is available, I might have gone that way first, but we'll see. I mean, logically, it is open, and if the logic gives you the stuff to get to a place like this early, it usually does have something.
I think you're absolutely right, and it is fair to call it a gamble because it's an area that you may potentially be able to avoid rather than Thieves Town, which you're going to have to go into. But it's just not as big a gamble as it might otherwise seem based on what they have.
Yeah, the options are so limited at this point that it almost does feel like it's pointing you here. There is the Ice Rod. That you don't necessarily want to see.
No, that's not what you want this gamble to lead to at all.
We still need quite a bit before Turtle Rock is in play, but you get that Ice Rod there. Obviously Ice Rod can be anywhere, so by itself it doesn't mean much, but we'll see how this plays out.
Well, the flippers will give us the mirror and the hammer, which will give us access to Turtle Rock. So at that point, we'll be a Kina Samaria away from actually being able to go in, assuming it's Bombos or Quake. So we're still a few things away, but man, we know that the flippers will not be in Turtle Rock.
Yeah, absolutely, they cannot be in Turtle Rock. Eriror does finish off Mothula and gets his first crystal. Let's see. I gotta imagine he's gonna go for Thieves Town. Well, he's gonna finish clearing out Skullwoods first.
Yeah, so actually, the only progression item that can be in Turtle Rock would be the hookshot. Because everything else is locked out.
And we still have one more item to find in Mire. This is the last place you can check. If it's not here, it's on Vitreous. That's 2 items. Nothing in Mire.
We still have yet to see what Zora has, but it's Zora and Thieves Town are the most likely plays at this point.
I mean, if it's on Zora, you're gonna feel horrible at this point.
Yeah, so what Turtle Rock locks is you can't get into Turtle Rock without the hammer, which is blocked by the mirror, which is blocked by the flippers. So those 3 items can't be in Turtle Rock. You can't go in without the King of Samaria, so that's also locked out of Turtle Rock. So just the hookshot or a fetch quest item that leads to hookshot would be all that could be in there progression-wise.
So lunchtime is going to be the first to dip into Thieves Town. There's
wow.
Hookshot.
First chest. You gotta be kicking yourself a little bit after clearing Mire and then finding that in that last medallion.
So yeah, that 100% kills the pedestal.
And that also 100% kills Turtle Rock.
Yeah, we do not need to go into Turtle Rock for anything at this point.
We're actually in no mode once we find the flippers.
You're right, yeah. Once we have those flippers, we can get everything to finish the seed, and both runners do know where that mirror and hammer is.
I really want to see vanilla flippers at this point, but there are a lot of places it can be. They might still find it in Thieves Town. I don't know if they've gotten all the items. That hookshot now unlocks all of Eastern Death Mountain, both Light and Dark World, so that's a lot of items up there. Probably in the next place that both of our runners are going to go.
Now, Chet does point out one interesting thing that we may still need for Gomo, and that is Samaria. On the off chance that the big key is on the right side of GT, that is required.
That's absolutely true. However, I tend to follow the rule that you call Go mode without, like, you know, what they call it, Schrodinger's Go mode or whatever. Like you call it with the assumption that the GT big key is going to be accessible, and then revoke it if you have to, because otherwise, you know, hookshot, Cane of Samaria, certain items, you know, that can be in GT. You know, you're not going to call Go mode until you're halfway through the dungeon.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I'll call if they find the flippers. I'm gonna call Go mode, and then I'll just take it back because we can do that.
Well, technically, they also need a sword.
If they find the flippers and a sword, I'll call Go mode, and then we can just take it back.
Though the sword is another thing, they could just go into GT expecting to find one there. Now, I have not been tracking their items, but they don't have the small key yet. So that chest is absolutely not going to be needed. Because Blind cannot have that small key.
Very nice way to, knowing where the hammer is, finish your turtle, not your turtle, the heck am I saying? Your Thieves Town play, and not leave anything behind.
Alright, lunchtime going on the blind fight, pretty scripted. This will be easy. Just a shield for his trouble. And a crystal.
Well, that's one shield away from the red shield. Anybody who wasn't here like the first 10 minutes is missed out on the whole red item theme that we've been playing.
So with that hook shot, what is there? Well, lunchtime's looks like he's gonna grab the purple chest and take that over to the well, I think we call him Gary, though he doesn't have an official name. Eriror is taking out Blind. Gets his shield, gets his second crystal. Let's see if this purple chest pays off. Yeah, just some love. But yeah, with that hook shot, Eriror is going to go, or lunch. Well, actually, both of them looks like they're going to go for East Side Death Mountain.
There's 16 plus items up here, so chances of this having flippers is very, very high, if not 100%.
Let's see, you got 7 in Paradox Cave, 1 in Spiral, 2 in Super Bunny, 4 in Hookshot Cave. You can see the ledge or the floating on, but we can't get to it. And then there's also 3 items technically in Hera, between 2 items in the Palace plus the Green Pendant. So yes, I would be very surprised if none of that had the flippers.
Yeah, well, they can't get to Hera. That's flipper locked.
Oh, you are right. Hera is flipper locked.
Which, how often is Hera flip? Like, that just sounds weird to say. The Tower of Hera is flipper locked?
Well, we have a book now. That actually, now the flippers can be in desert.
They can be in desert. The Ether Tablet is also flipper locked, if we're saying fun things that don't sound normal.
And the Bombos tablet's flipper locked.
Yeah, absolutely. So the book doesn't unlock either tablet. It just unlocks the Desert Palace.
Oh, that also puts another potential place in play. Pyramid Fairy could have it.
Yeah, Chet did do the pyramid for everyone earlier. Wow, yesterday and today, we're just getting these really fun seeds to talk about with logic.
Yeah. Now, let's say lunchtime's gonna go in and do this, go to Dark without checking Spiral Cave, and nope. I think he remembered Spiral Cave at the last second there.
Yeah, I got some Spiral Cave sync here.
With boots and a sword, this is really easy. Let's see if this yields anything. Just another red rupee.
I'm hoping for flippers in desert at this point. They have to clear it anyway because it's the crystal, and might as well find it there. But they have the Dark World spots to check.
Yep, both of them going in here. We can't go into Turtle Rock anyway unless you were to get this Mario, but I think actually no, you can't get into Turtle Rock either way. You don't have the hammer.
Yeah, Turtle Rock is flipper locked. This is it's a little bit weird to route Death Mountain this way, but without the mirror, you have to do all of the Light World checks first, which means climbing up the mountain and then falling back down. It's so much easier when you have the mirror. Mirror makes all routing so much easier.
That actually might have saved lunchtime, because if he had the hammer, maybe he would have taken that portal.
Yeah, you do not want to forget Spiral Cave. It's just one item, and it's not more likely to have anything than any other item, but it's one of the easier ones to forget the route.
Alright, so here's our... I don't know why Eriror's checking us. He's got the medallion regardless.
That's a good point.
There's our flippers.
Well, it just opened up everything.
So they're gonna go get their hammer. They're gonna go get their mirror. We just need a sword, and we can kind of basically start go-moding stuff. And I wouldn't be surprised if Zora has the sword. And my reasoning for saying that is because there tend to be two swords available when Aga's in play. Lunchtime for getting these to actually go grab the hammer.
Oh, poor lunchtime. Oh. That's great, though.
No, he's not going for it. Where's he going?
I don't know. I mean, it would look like he's... I have no idea. No, you would just flute the 8 like Eriror did, and then just take the whirlpool up. Lunchtime. It looks like lunchtime is going for the Lake Halia Island, like he already has the mirror.
He's gonna have a bad realization if he does.
I think that's what he's doing. I think he is trying to get the hammer.
Okay, Zora didn't have anything, so that's good.
Oh my god, this is gonna be so awesome. And horrible. I meant horrible. I'm sorry, lunchtime. When you're watching this later.
I think you just realized it.
Oh, oops. Darn.
Alright, so, yeah, with those flippers, Eriror is gonna go grab the hammer.
That's great. And lunchtime is gonna go get his mirror.
He's going to the portal over here too. He forgot he has Aga.
Well, the whirlpool here is quicker. Oh, you mean Eriror is doing it?
Yeah. Well, let's be fair to these runners. You don't expect to have the Aga portal available, so you don't always think about that. And like in the heat of the moment, you're just trying to think about, okay, I need to go get these flippers or this hammer as fast as I possibly can.
I absolutely will agree with you on that one. The Aga portal, you normally think about it when you're doing, your initial Dark World access, and that's all you have, and when you're routing the the purple bomb to the pyramid. Other than that,
Oh,
you just
no.
don't think about it.
Maybe this actually might be smart routing by him. He's going to check a couple extra
Oh.
locations.
All right.
That's a good check. He found half magic.
That's absolutely a good check.
Okay, so I'll take back what I said about Eriror, and that he made a nice routing decision there.
I think that was the long way around. Maybe not.
But Eriror's going to get his hammer, so he can clear Eastern, he can clear deserts, he can clear Pod, clear swamp, and can clear ice.
And lunchtime also taking the same route. But whether it was because of habit or the K45 check, we don't know yet. So yeah, it's basically go mode execution from this point on. We're going to see area clear, Pod Eastern combo, probably then do desert. I guess I'm going to guess he gets both items in desert, but probably does go mode ice and swamp. Like you said earlier, Brewers fan, there's a chance that they end up skipping Canis Maria, but we saw in yesterday's race skipping hookshot and then having to backtrack for it. You just make an assumption that you're going to find what you need in Ganon's Tower,
which is always a smart idea at this point too. I mean, there's 22 chests up. Well, actually, I mean, even in our cases, I mean, depending where the big key is. Well, actually, if you find the big key, then you don't need to check anything else, unless you're still looking for a sword at that point.
Well, only 5 items in the right side are blocked by the Canis Maria, and that's pretty good odds that you're not going to need it. It's at least good enough odds that it's worth checking the other locations and then going to backtrack rather than looking for it ahead of time.
So area is going to clear up Pod first. Lunchtime is going for desert. You need to go pick up the big key.
Oh, this will be fun too.
I can't imagine what's going through Lunchtime's head at this point. He's probably just really flustered and just trying to figure out what he needs to do, and he's just forgetting these little things, which is easy enough to do in a run. You can't blame him for that.
Well, he found the hook shot in the beginning of Thieves Town after diving into Misery Mire, so he probably assumes that Eriror went immediately into Thieves. That was the first item in that dungeon. And even if you're not going to full clear it, you do typically check the first 4 chests. So I bet that he thinks that Eriror has had the flippers for a good 10 minutes longer, and then of course everything else.
That's very true. Where that hook shot is can easily make you feel behind, especially like you said after he dipped Mire, which potentially is the difference between these runners right now, is that extra Mire dip that Lunchtime did.
I think you're absolutely right. It's Eriror didn't initially finish Malthila, but hadn't gone to the back and then and died or anything. He just didn't go there at all. So that wasn't a time loss, or at least not a significant one. They're pretty much even except for the Mire dive.
So Eriror's through Pod. He'll go to Eastern next. So, Eastern's a quick clear. Desert will be a quick clear. Ice, I got to imagine both these runners are just going to go mode it. I can't imagine they're going to spend any time looking for anything in ice.
I agree with you. If you have to backtrack, if your opponent full cleared it and you go moded it and that cost you the game, then that cost you the game. I think that they're already in 5-0, so they're in the brackets. I think you just gamble on being able to complete the seed as quickly as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. If you were in a situation where you were basically do or die, it'd be rougher. But yeah, these guys are 5-0. Lunchtime only gets one in his first cycle here. Looks like he'll get the others in the second. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing at risk here. I mean, there's no real difference between finishing 7-0 or 6-1 or 5-2. You're gonna be in the bracket. You're gonna be seated randomly the same way.
Yeah, I think if you're one of these players, you're going to gamble on having the shortest possible time, even if that costs you the win. I know that sounds like stupid to say in a speed run, like you're always going to go for the fastest possible time, but it actually makes sense. You're going to gamble losing at the risk of finding what you need in Ganon's tower versus being safe and full clearing things.
So Eriror has 4 crystals, most likely. Well, actually, I forgot to mention Swan Palace. I still have to go there. But that's another one they'll probably go mode. Maybe check a chest or 2 on the way. And yeah, Eriror's going to do desert first.
Yeah, I can see getting both of the desert items because they're pretty quick to get. And even in Swamp, I would see, go to back of Swamp. You're going to check all 3 chests in the back just because they're quick, and that might give you a sword. You're going to skip left side. You're probably going to skip the vanilla compass room.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we have not seen any other swords, so we don't even know where they can go to get one at this point. We're kind of as in the dark as they are.
Absolutely. I think that the semi, we're talking about like full go mode versus the semi go mode, checking things on the way. I think even if they find a second sword, they're still going to do the semi go mode approach and check things on the way, just in case that cane ends up being required. If it's in your way, you'll still check it.
Not to mention that they'd like to pick up a tempered sword anyway.
Absolutely true.
Actually, maybe Eriror is not going to do well. I guess that chest was kind of not in his way. We know that skipping is not going to hurt him though.
I think Eriror will come back if there's no item on Landmo. That's kind of like the standard, nowadays. Like you do Landmo and then you come back.
Well, maybe, but at the same time, it's going to take more time to go back in there now versus if you had just mirrored out after getting that.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. It depends on it. Like we were talking about, is it semi-go mode or is it full go mode? I don't know. It depends on how they feel.
Now, in the event that we do need Samaria, there will be a tell that they could potentially use to help them pinpoint it. And that is what Cold Stare drops when we get there. Because if Cold Stare drops a key, then we know Samaria was technically required for Ice Palace.
I don't think that's... I don't know if you can make that... I know we spent an hour talking about this yesterday, but the fact that they have the hook shot means that they can get all the keys from inside.
No. If Cold Stare drops the key.
Oh, if Cold Stare drops the key, okay.
Yeah, I know that part of the logic. If Cold Stare drops the key, then Samaria was required to finish the dungeon technically.
That would definitely give them the indicator that... Well, that'll tell them that it's not in Ganon's tower, but they'll still have to actually get to GT before they know if it's required for GT.
That is true. They'd actually have to check the 18 chests, or 17 chests they'd have access to. I thought 18 because for some reason I'm thinking they could check the big chest looking for it, but no, if they go to if they have the big key, they're not checking the big chest unless they're still looking for a sword.
I like chat's proposal. All the swords are in Turtle Rock.
Chat just likes to watch the world burn, or in this case, the randomizer seeds burn.
I'm gonna go with Chet on this one. I mean, they're in 5-0. They're in the brackets. You know, let them let them amuse us. I demand to be entertained. Ice Rod was in Misery Mire, which is absolutely where you want to find it, of course. Alright, so Eriror hasn't reached completely insane go mode yet. Still checking things on the way, finding the powder. That's both of our favorite items, isn't it?
Oh, the powder? Yeah. Oh, we had some fun talking about the powder yesterday, too. I mean, that's a nice safety to have going into GT anyway, just in case you need the health refill. Okay, so Eriror, I'd say, is a couple minutes ahead at this point.
Yeah.
See how much of Swampy he chooses to check. He's almost definitely not checking the left side. I could see him going down to check down there. I could see him going... Yeah, he is going to do that. I could see him also checking those two chests just south of the switch room in the basement.
Well, he's checking the compass room here. This is a quick check, so this makes sense. That's an item. So I absolutely think he's going to check the 3 chests in the back as well. But skip left side.
Yeah, no reason to do left side right now.
Left side is a 2-minute investment for... I don't know if they got the map or compass yet, but at most 2 items. So definitely not worth it.
Yeah. Now, lunchtime is clearing out ice first. We'll see what his strategy is as he goes through this. He's going to check this room. It is on the way to Cold Stare, so not necessarily a bad check. It's a pretty quick one, especially when you can kill a hookshot quick. Just gets a map, though.
Area heading down. Check these as we expected. Not going too far out of their way. Rupees and rupees.
And a single arrow.
I don't think it's too bad. Like, if you're going to have to pick between Swamp Palace and Ice Palace, if you had the full clear one, I think you would rather full clear Ice Palace, just because it's not as bad as people think it is.
Yeah, that's true. Now, either way, he'll have to hammer jump here since he doesn't have the cane. Well, technically he doesn't have to hammer jump, but the dungeon gets significantly longer without the cane if you don't hammer jump.
Yeah, bomb jump, absolutely. And
what is hammer jump?
I know. I didn't want to be like obvious about correcting you. I tried to be subtle, but yeah, a little bit harder to do with the fighter sword there, but he got his first try. This is a really nice Argus fight. Fighter sword spins, takes 2 spins to kill each of those puffs, and Eriror was getting the double puffs as well. That's really hard to do.
He's a little off on his pattern now, unfortunately, though. So still no sword for lunchtime. Let's see what he elects to do. Does he go straight to Cold Stare, or does he keep going?
I think you got to keep going.
He's going for Cold Stare.
Well, they don't care what I say. we got a tree here in chat. Ben, one of the people who doesn't have to compete in the brackets, chiming in that both of our runners deserve their suffering.
I don't know how much I'd be very careful with Ben. After he's won the last 2 tournaments, I think there are some people in chat who might agree with him and also extend that. Sorry, Ben.
So you don't think that lunchtime is going to head back in here? You think he's probably just going to keep going?
I think he's going to keep going.
I don't think he found one item yet. I mean, it was just all dungeon items and keys.
Yeah. And he's warping back. Yeah, he's not going to go back into ice. He checked what he could, and he's just going to go on. He'll be in swamp.
I don't expect his swamp play to be any different than Eriror's. Just the back, skip the left side. That means that he is probably going to head up to Ganon's tower with a fighter sword and no Cane of Samaria, hoping to find either that the cane is optional, or finding it in the tower as well as a sword. It feels like a big gamble, but it's a good play given the item density that he has access to in GT. 17 items versus 2 in Swamp, 3 in Ice. There's something that just feels wrong about it, though. Even if you do the math, it's a good play. It just go to GT without the cane, without the sword.
Yeah, it sounds weird, but it is the right move. Hey, Eriror is showing me some redemption here. He pulled the hammer out to jump.
Okay, I guess you can call that a kind of a hammer jump.
So Eriror's almost through ice. So he's probably gonna make the exact same play lunchtime did.
Most likely, I won't be surprised though if Eriror does check the right side of ice. Dropping down the Cold Stare was a little bit aggressive, considering that he hadn't found any items at that point. So, you kind of know where the 3 items are.
Well, we'll see what Eriror elects to do. He was already angling down. I'm wondering if that's an idea right away. Yep.
Yeah. Well, that one I should have just waited a few seconds before calling that. I didn't realize it was going to be that fast. I'll admit, I wasn't paying attention.
So Eriror has the advantage here of having fire or having half magic. So this could be a bit of an easier fight for him.
And just burning down those eye puffs.
Alright, so let's see where Eriror goes, and if he goes to GT, I think we start our game.
We had the same problem yesterday. Do you start it when he has 7 crystals or when he decides to go to GT?
I think once we see him start going to GT, we start it. Oh, yep. With Mir and killing Aga, saving Quentin Dark will put you there. And yep, he went to the old man's. I think
That's a GT play.
Yep.
All right, so we'll get this started. You guys can get your guesses in. 1 to 17 in this case, I guess it seems.
Well, it's still 1 to 22 because if it's not in those first 17 chests,
I'm just trying to
still have to go find that cane.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be a little bit of a troll for him.
Yeah, so yeah, there are 22 chests in Ganon's tower. One of them has the big key that they'll need to ascend the tower. Get your guesses in with number 1 to 22. If you are a subscriber to the Speed Gaming Network or have donated 250 bits or more to any of the channels, you are eligible to be entered into the leaderboard.
Well, it's pretty obvious what my guess is going to be for this game, and that's 18.
Now, of course, there's also a second thing we could guess for potentially, and that is where do they find the sword that they need?
Yeah, this could be another seed where we see one person go into GT first, and we start the game, but they're not the person to actually get the key first. We had a 45-minute delay yesterday between starting the game and ending the game. I hope we don't have that again. You're just like looking at the bot. You're like, is this going to respond? I'm not sure if this is going to respond.
So, just to make sure we're clear, we are going by Eriror's chest checking because he is in first. Lunchtime, going to be a little safe and pick up some potions. So, Eriror just went in right away. He does have a fairy, though. There's the first 2 chests. Right side is key locked anyway, so gotta go left
first.
What
you want to see? And normally you want to find a key there, but not in this seed.
There's the big key, number 3. So Kana Samaria, we do not need in any way, or unless it for some reason blocks 3
swords. Yeah.
Swords.
So crashed it. X codes for picking 3.
But now the wrong cane.
Wrong cane. We got a red theme going here, guys, not a blue cane.
So, but yeah, now the search is on for that master sword that they need to finish the seed. And there it is. 7th chest.
That was easy.
Okay. So lunchtime is not going to be that far behind.
That was incredibly disappointing, I gotta say.
Yeah, a lot of build-up and, yeah, not really much, not much excitement. But hey, now it's time for GT execution, which can still decide this race. I do expect Eriror to still open some chests on the way up and hope to find a tempered sword. But Master Sword with silvers is plenty doable.
Yeah, you're not at 5-0 and unable to do Master Sword with silvers.
Lunchtime is probably going to make the exact same play. The only thing that could trip him up is if he sees that GT key and immediately starts climbing.
That would really surprise me. I mean, it's possible, but I think that you're going to continue full clear left side looking for a sword. Eriror has the advantage of half magic, but Lunchtime picked up some potions, so that kind of evens them out once they pick up that last magic pot.
Yeah, Lunchtime's continuing. He's not going to chance that.
That's too much of a gamble. You have so many item locations that you can still check. versus the 4 that you can check upstairs.
Yep, exactly. That move's like only a desperation move where you feel like you're really behind. Now, without Samaria, this is going to throw the runners off a little bit because you're used to having Kina Samaria in these next few rooms.
Yeah, it's so weird to see these rooms done with the arrows or sword beams or anything else. But you have to remember that, you know, most people who play this game originally, this is how they did it. You know, they didn't know how to do swag Samaria strats.
Yeah, I mean, definitely original strats here. Mario did save himself a few frames there by switching to normal arrows, because the silver arrows do tend to lag the room a bit.
That's a good point. It's sometimes weird to remember that that's even an option, but
Eriror is almost out of magic. He's got to use... Okay, that was a smart play right there. And he'll get a full magic refill coming up, so... Smart move to realize he was running low on magic and use his lamp to light a couple of those.
yeah, worst case, he could have just fallen down and gotten the full magic refill.
Yeah, that's true. He's going to powder for some health here, which is good since he doesn't have any safeties available. Oh, didn't even need the powder. He got a full heart there.
You always get the heart refills right after you get full health.
Oh, Moldorm. That's going to give Lunchtime a chance to catch up a little bit.
They're very close. That's a nice full magic drop for Lunchtime to pick up at that point.
Oh no! That is 2 falls. Eriror still is in the lead, but he's got to be. It's got to put him on tilt a little bit.
There you go. Third time's the charm.
No tempered sword though, so he'll be doing Master Sword Silvers.
No harm in checking those last 4 chests though, in the hopes that you get a sword. They're definitely on the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Just get those checked. Get some. Just get it for extra peace of mind. So Lunchtime, I guess, is not as used to these rooms. He's taking a little extra time. Oh, the Wizrobe blocked him with his wave.
It's a little unfortunate having to use a potion there, but it's definitely a safe play, and he's far enough along that you don't want to risk it.
Eriror is through Aga. Now it's time for Ganon.
That's a nice Aga too. Eriror, though, I don't believe has maybe just the red potion left. He didn't buy any potions. I forget which one tried the potion glitch.
He used his red potion to the sequence break pod, so all he has left is a fairy.
So normally in a Master Sword Ganon fight, you'd want to use the cape if he's positioned near a wall. You can get your 12 spins instead of during the first 2 phases. You get your double spins is rather what I meant, but he's gonna have to really conserve his magic.
Now it does have red mail, and that will help it as well. Oh, Lunchtime is also having some troubles with Moldorm.
No great positioning for Eriror. The top left was a nice phase 2 position, but this is what you want for phase 1, right here on the bottom.
He's on to phase 2. Lunchtime. Okay, so both the runners have taken 2 falls to Moldorm now.
Yeah, Ganon teleports, Aga blue balls, they're all the same for both runner. Muldorm falls are normally not. But in this case, they are.
Right, I think Area's through phase 2. Yep, he's into phase 3.
Alright, so just one spin for each of these phases, and then one spin to get him into ice phase to be vulnerable to silvers. Still, a little dangerous with 3.5 hearts, but I think that fairy will be just enough.
He's into phase 4. He's got the lamp out to get the torch glitch. There's one arrow. Oh, torch goes out. He's got to be a little careful. Well, he still has his fairy, but still don't want to waste time potentially.
Good Aga 2 from lunchtime. Yeah, that hit from Ganon was not good, but missing the silver, that was just unfortunate timing with the lamp.
Playing it
I
safe.
think this will be it.
Yeah, that is it.
Get your GGs in for Eriror. Moving on to be our 8th and final 6-0 person, as long as he walks across this bridge and doesn't fall off. Well walked, good sir.
He officially finishes the speed racing TV time of 1 hour, 31 minutes, and 29 seconds.
GG's, Eriror.
Yo, GG's. That was quite a seed.
We're just finishing up lunchtime's Ganon fight at the moment. He's into phase 2, so we'll bring him in right after his fight as well.
He also has Master Sword.
Yep, you both went into GT with just Fighter Sword.
Yeah, there was quite a bit of stuff left to do, so I was kind of worried that there was maybe not a sword in GT, or that we needed a cane, but I decided I just had to go for it.
Yeah, you guys both essentially played the same game. Very little route diversions, a lot of sync. Even tried, fake flippering and sequence breaking the mirror a couple times. it was a lot of fun
we're
to
not
watch.
going to talk about that.
Oh, we are going to
felt
talk
super
about
behind.
that.
I felt like I had to make plays because, I don't know, nothing worked out. My execution was less than stellar. I bonked everywhere. I found the hookshot super late. I imagine lunchtime would have gone into Thieves Town a bit earlier.
Lunchtime actually dipped Meyer before he went into Thieves Town.
Oh.
Yeah, you actually found it first.
So once I found the hookshot, I was like, oh no, like the flippers are going to be in East Death Mountain, and then I'm basically boned because it's basically the only thing that you needed was the hookshot and the flippers, because the flippers lead to mirror, and the mirror lets hammer, yada yada, and then you're basically in go mode if you don't need the cane, or you need to find a sword, but a sword should be on the way.
Well,
So
we officially have lunchtime finishing his Ganon fight with a time of 1 hour, 33 minutes, and 43 seconds. Just, what is it? I think 2 minutes and 14 seconds between the two runners.
And hopefully he will join us here in just a moment as well.
So, were you thinking at one point about sequence breaking that mirror?
well, I tried to, but then I bonked like right before Zora's domain, and then I soft locked myself, so I had to flute away Because I did try to set that up, like the double water walk or the double fake flipper thing. Yeah.
So what we were asking is, do you know how to get the Lake Hylia item from the Dark World without the flippers?
No. No, I don't know how to set up that water walk, but I just figured that with the mirror I could increase my just my efficiency with routing to be able to maybe find a sword on the way, because I don't know. Maybe I didn't need to do it, but considering you only needed 2 items in total, and the mirror was locked behind one of them, but I just yeah.
It might not have saved any time, but you did end up very efficiently routing your T45 check-in on your way to pick up the hammer there. That got you the half magic, which is made the second half of the game a lot easier for you.
Yeah, definitely. Half magic is something I'm always happy to find. You never need it, but man, you never mind seeing it.
So you went into the Ganon, you went into the gauntlet there. You had the half magic, but really no safeties other than the fairy. Lunchtime didn't pick up the half magic, but had a couple potions. So you were essentially evened out. Otherwise, your equipment was almost exactly the same.
Yeah, I think really what it came down to was Lunchtime dipped Meyer and you didn't. I think that was basically the difference in the run.
Alright, yeah, I can imagine that would be alongside with all my derps, so I guess that would amount to like a 2-minute difference then. Because Meyer can be pretty annoying with the layouts and trying to find all the items.
Did you have a plan in mind for what you would do if you didn't find the cane in GT? Like, were you going to go back to Ice and Swamp, or did you have another place to check first?
So if I did find a sword, but if I didn't find the big key on the left side or on behind Armos, I would mirror check the Hera area first together with Tablet, Spy Cave, and then probably clear out Ice first, yeah, because that's not too bad if you get a key. Then you can just clear out the right side and Ice Tea Room. It should be okay. And otherwise, just the Smith stuff, I guess. Maybe Fat Fairy first.
There was a surprisingly large number of options available. Fortunately, it wasn't necessary, and that sword, we were a little bit worried watching Lunchtime go through a minute after you, worried that he wouldn't pick up that sword, but unfortunately, you guys both got that on. I think it was the 5th item was the sword, 3rd was the torch, something like that.
Yeah, like once I found the big key, I was relieved, and I almost just wanted to mirror out immediately. But then I realized I should probably continue looking for a sword, because banking on it being in the final 4 chests is kind of risky.
That makes a lot of sense. You had really no other better place than the left side of GT as far as item density is concerned. So at the time, that's the best option.
Yeah. I mean, GT is the big hoard of items, especially if you need something that has like three different possible locations, like swords or maybe even a bottle. If you need something, you can usually bank on it being in GT.
Did you feel reluctant to make the Aga 1 play initially?
Yeah, I mean, I usually just check everything before I go to Aga. This time I wanted to go to Zora. I mean, you even saw me do Hoolihan at some point, I suppose, because I wanted to check what was on the ledge, then do Zora. But then I realized that I really don't have anything else to do aside from Pod after doing Aga. So I needed to save up all the rupees that I had. So my Hoolihan was kind of wasted in the end. So I was hoping that by doing all the fake flipper stuff, I would maybe get like 50 or 100 rupees, so I would have enough to do Zora and Pod, but it didn't work out.
Well, thinking ahead to Pod and saving that money for Kiki turned out to absolutely be the best play, because that was your Titan's Mitts, so that was your next progression item.
Yeah, And it was funny because after you found the mids, you really only needed the bow, the flippers, and the hookshot. And I guess the flute as well, right? Yeah. Oh, you didn't even need the flute technically, but you were so close to go mode already after finding the mids, and you didn't really have a lot of options. So it was really a kind of a linear-ish seed, but also a really fast one.
Yeah, you knew where the hammer and the mirror were, so it was essentially flips and hookshot. We were having discussions about whether we would even call it go mode without the cane, but everything worked out really well. I don't think we're able to get Lunchtime in for an interview. He doesn't have a microphone, unfortunately. So just send him your GGs in chat. I don't know if he's in the chat at the moment, but 6-0 for you, Eriror. The 8th and final spot in the 6-0 bracket. Anybody in particular that you want to avoid or that you're hoping to match up with next week?
Not in particular. I'm actually not quite sure who at the moment is in the 6-0 bracket. I assume it's like Hippo, Andy, some others, obviously, but I don't know the exact list. I mean, I wouldn't mind being matched up against anyone at this point, because right now it's mostly just for fun and just for some bragging rights to be 7-0, but there's no real benefit to it, so I just want to have a good match and maybe, show everyone a good time.
Yeah, take a quick look and see who else is in the 6-0 group. So it looks like also in the 6-0 group was Ferami, M. Kostler, Hippos, Andy, Zero Rush, Number Play, and Jet.
Yeah, those are all ridiculously strong people, and I'm kind of surprised I'm among those right now. So, I mean, I would be really afraid against anyone of those in brackets. So I guess it's a nice way to actually see how I stand up against those people, like next week, and see how I might do in brackets.
Well, those are going to be 4 absolutely hype matches that I definitely can't wait to see. But this was a really fun seed to watch when you're in the 5-0 phase and you already have progression to the brackets. You're able to take some sillier gambles, make some sillier plays like sequence breaking the mirror that you might not otherwise have made, and it made the race really enjoyable. Looking at the final completion rates here, your 135 versus the 140 that Lunchtime had, that's essentially the Meyer dip. But otherwise, a 130 seed, very, very fast, very fun to watch, and I'm really thankful to both of you guys for giving us the opportunity to present this to the community and to enjoy it.
Yeah, thank you all for commentating and tracking, and of course to Speed Gaming and the ALTTPR channels for hosting this in general. So I'm really enjoying this tournament, and I'm glad that this community is here and having a great time. And it's just absolutely amazing to be a part of it.
Absolutely. I recommend anybody who's watching and hasn't yet tried this. I don't even know how that's possible, but if you still haven't tried it, absolutely give it a try. We have our last race of the day starting at 5 o'clock. That's 15 minutes from now, 5 o'clock Eastern Time on Speed Gaming 3. There's a race in progress on Speed Gaming 2 as well. So either of those would be good places to check out following the conclusion of this. Links in chat for both of our runners, Eriror and Lunchtime. Absolutely so much fun to watch. My thanks to the Speed Gaming crew for hosting. DataPlet01, thank you so much for tracking. I would be an absolute mess without the tremendous job of all of our trackers. And thank you, Brewers fan JP, for second Kukum in a row. Great seeds, a lot of fun. Pleasure to join you.
Yeah, it was good working with you too.
Well, that's it from me. Good night, guys.
Yep. Have a good day, and we will see you all in round 7.